Hi everyone, I am back with the 2017 Mickey and Minnie card series. This is the first part of the video that will be at the beginning of every video for the series for you. And this is the cutting of the cardstock to create the corner fold for the card. So what you need is your card base, which is going to be 5.5 by 8.5. I will just zoom out a little so you guys can see. So you need a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece for your card base. I'm using black again. Then you're going to score that at 4.25, and then you're going to need a trimmer. Now I've got the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, which is perfect for this. I know Fiskars has one that's similar, that's got the little V-blade that you can get, and the reason that we're using one like this is because we are cutting in the middle of the card, so a rotary cutter is just not going to work. You're not going to get the precise cut that you need. So if you've got this type of trimmer already, perfect. If not, Stampin' Up! Does carry these, and there's always a link in the description below. So, yeah. Now, what I did with mine is, I'm going to zoom back in. I have marked mine, as you can see, with some white cardstock. So the measurements that you're actually going to be using are going to be the 5/8 mark, the 2.5, the 3, and the 4 7/8. The reason I marked mine is if I move this cardstock out of the way, there's a dark brown print underneath this, and I can't really read that when I have darker cardstock underneath there. So I just took a thin piece of washi tape and just wrote on it with a really fine Sharpie, and there you have it. So let's get to the cutting. Now here's our score mark at the 4.25. So what we're going to do is take this edge of our card, and I am working around my tripod, so excuse all the arms and hands in the way. So we're going to line this up at the 3-inch mark. We're going to take our blade, move it to the 2.5, and we're going to cut, down to the 4 7/8. So you should have a little cut there. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to line it up at the 3 again. Then we're going to move our blade to the 3-inch. And we're going to cut upward to the 5/8. And you should have a little slit like this. So that's how you do the cutting. Okay, now that you have your little slits made in your card here for your part that you're going to fold back, we're just going to fold this in half and get the front of this card done. So with the 2 cuts that you made in the middle of the card, you're just going to take that and fold it back on itself. Just kind of make sure that it's nice and even. And then go ahead and crease those. So that's what's going to make your corner fold here. So just like that. Alright, now I actually forgot to cut my front piece ahead of time. So we're going to go ahead and just cut it on this video. So for your pattern piece that's going to go underneath your flap on the front, you're going to need a piece of whatever pattern you choose to use. And you're going to cut this to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So we need to do a diagonal cut for it to fit underneath here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and we're going to do a little bit of measuring. Then we're going to stick it in our cutter and just go ahead and slice it. So from your top left corner here, you're going to measure in 5/8 of an inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going to put like a little pencil mark there. And then from your bottom right corner up, you're going to measure 1 7/8 of an inch up. So there's 1 7/8 is the little tick mark right before the 2. So that's where we know we're going to do our cut. So let me grab my trimmer. Okay, so when you do this part, you're just going to stick it in your trimmer, and you're going to line up your little pencil marks. So, okay. There's that one and that one, and you guys won't be able to really see my pencil marks on the camera. So, and we're just going to slice it like that. Super easy. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to slide this in here and see if I cut it correctly. So it'll fit just like that. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and attach mine down, and just like the rest of the series, you don't want to put any adhesive on the diagonal cut because you will end up gluing your card shut that way. And I may or may not run out of adhesive during this video. Alright, so again, I'm just going to put this in here without pressing it down, and I'm just going to line it up. So I've got an even border all the way around. So there we have our front piece. Okay, now this flap here, I do like to take a little bit of adhesive and just have that held down like that. Alright, so our front pieces are, I'm using Very Vanilla for this one because there was no white in this actual pattern piece, so I chose the Very Vanilla. This piece is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and this piece measures 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, but this is the inside, so we're going to grab the outside piece. Same measurements, 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So let's layer these up. You don't have to use the Very Vanilla. You can use like whatever pattern papers that you're using for the series. These ones are all the ones that came out of the 4 Seasons and everything in between, I think it's what it's called. It's a paper studio pack. I don't have it out with me right now. I have shown it in some of the previous Mickey and Minnie videos for this series. So we're going to go ahead and just put this right on the front, and you should have a small border around that one as well. So you can see there's a little bit of a black border there. Alright, we're going to move into the inside, and as you can see, this paper's not double-sided, so you don't get a nice print on the back of it, which would look kind of weird anyway, only being half of that square. So another piece at 2 7/8 by 2 7/8 of whatever color, and then another coordinating piece of pattern paper at 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and we're just going to go ahead and layer these up, and we'll get that put down on the inside, and we can move on to our message mat and some stamping. So this piece, just like so. I don't think I'm putting these on very evenly today. Kind of have a bit of a headache going on right now. Alright, so This one I'm going to place where I've got a small black border again. You don't have to do that. You could stick it right up to the edge and not have that black border if you choose. So there's my inside, and now my message mat is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And I'm just going to put this on the inside. So that's just going to go here. So just like that, when you close it up, you've got this little space here, and that's where we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to leave the card closed to use as my guide, and I'm using another Stamps by Judith stick, and this is the acorn. So that's what the little acorn looks like. And I'm going to use some Memento potter's clay for my acorn. And I did choose another color for my sentiment on this one, just because I didn't want my acorn to be green. So, alright, we're going to go ahead and stamp up in that corner. And then I'm going to alternate, I'm going to do 3 up here, and I'm going to alternate the direction of my acorns. Okay, and then I'm going to do 3 more going down this side. And again, I'm just going to alter the direction of my acorns. Okay, so I'll clean that off in a few minutes. So there we've got the little acorns. And then now we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. And for the sentiment, I'm just using, again, the teeny tiny wishes right here. The Happy Thanksgiving. I've already got that on my block. It's a G block. And then I've got bamboo leaves that I'm going to stamp with that color. Just a piece of very vanilla scrap here, just to punch out this sentiment. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and stamp that down. There we go. Alright, so we're done with the ink. Alright, I'm going to use my word window punch, which I've said many times is retired, unfortunately. So you can use whatever you have on hand. If you have this one, fantastic. If not, not a big deal. Alright, so there is that. Then I'm also going to be using... Sorry, my nose is running. I think I'm getting a cold. It's that kind of season now. So I'm also going to be using the Modern Label Punch, which again is another retired one. I'm just going to punch out a piece of black for this. And I've said many times, you guys don't have to use the exact same punches that I use. They're just what I have and what I like to use. So whatever you have is fine. So don't feel like if you don't have these items that you can't make these cards, because that's not true. You can use dies, you can use different punches, it just depends on what you have. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put the sentiment layer on our Modern Label. And then we can move on to our Mickey and Minnie. Alright, so there is our Happy Thanksgiving. So just like that. Now, a couple of dimensionals on the back of this. Okay, and then we're going to do Mickey and Minnie. Go ahead and grab 2 of them. Looks like I'm going to have to make some more Mickey and Minnie heads. Alright, grab my glue pen. Go ahead and get these stuck down. So technically, we have 2 Mickey heads for the moment until we add that bow. And turn that one into Minnie Mouse. Alright, so just hold those down for a minute. And you can use, again, whatever glue you have, whatever glue you prefer. You can still use your ATG tape for this, pieces of score tape, whatever. You can pop these up on dimensionals if you'd like. I just don't do that because I do add the bow, and I think that gives it enough dimension with the bow on there. Okay, so I've got this green. It's just eyelet ribbon from Michaels, like I use in all of my Minnie Mouse. So for all, I think all the Mickey and Minnie series, I've used this eyelet ribbon. And I just pick everything out ahead of time, set it aside, then I have all of it ready to go when I need to do the videos. And this one is a bit late. Again, I still haven't made up the September video yet, so I don't know. I'll get to it eventually. I've been really bad at filming lately. Okay, so this I'm just going to kind of center on the front of the card. And sometimes you can't go by the pattern paper because these leaves have a slight tilt to them. So there we go. Alright, there you have it. There is the Happy Thanksgiving version of the Mickey and Minnie 2017 corner fold card. So here's the outside completed. Here's the inside completed. You can add or take away anything you like from these cards. This is just how I do it. And again, I'm working, so working outside of the house, working inside the house, still trying to figure everything out. Sometimes it gets super nuts and super crazy around here, but I'm still trying to get these filmed and out to you guys. So yay, at least I got the Thanksgiving one done before Thanksgiving, right? So we're ahead there. Okay, so any questions, comments, concerns, anything, please leave it in the comments or message me or whatever you like. All of my links are in the description as always. So, yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay? Bye.